more or less, or one, or but there's certain things you couldn't do for them. So that's how there was always room for improvement. That's why we had the guests fill out surveys and was ask. I mean, do those things, so that way you can improve your customer service.
Okay. Were there any specific examples of how you improved any specific processes? Or was this just an overall thing? You received the feedback, you implemented it, and
You receive it and we implement it. Yeah, basically, they tell you we need to work on this, or because sometimes maybe you talk to guests and they're a certain way they didn't like it, and they felt they were being badgered or whatever. That's just an example. So they tell you you can work on it. And your manager talks to you about it, you work on it. So the next time you don't have those same problems.
okay. And the feedback that you received, was it mainly positive?
My feedback was always really good because I have a lot of years of customer service experience, so I always got a lot of good feedback. The only things that came back negative was sometimes I didn't spend enough time with the guests. I was nice and friendly, but they wouldn't want to talk to me about more things. But I kind of rushed them off it a few times. But I improved that, and the guys started taking more time. So it's just a few things. Got to make adjustments. Every position, every hotel is different kind of guests. They're not the same, and
Makes sense because every hotel has a different culture, right?
different culture. They're a different. Each guest, is there for a different reason. Like you said, different culture. They come there. Like the Paris, like the Caesars properties. I got a lot more Ronald upset guests over there than I did at New York, New York, New York, New York. I got a lot more. The guests were a lot happier over there. Didn't have too many guests complaining like I did at Paris. So I think it's all who running the hotel and a variety of factors.
Makes sense. Okay, so you said that you initiated more active guest follow-up, right?
Right. Yeah. We always, whenever we got these emails from the guests, we would
Hmm.
always call them and ask and talk to them on the phone about their trip and try to help them, ask them, offer assistance for restaurants and shows, and it's the same in person. Whenever they come up and they say we want to see a show, we always offered. Would you like to go to dinner before? We have some recommendations that we recommend, and then we ask, have you been to the Grand Canyon? And so we always try to upsell, try to get the most out of them, so they can have a good trip.
Makes sense. And this ties into positive relationship building.
Relationship building, yes. And then we always, like for me personally, I always used to call the guests after their tours or their show the next day. If I didn't see them, I call them and ask them just want to check in, make sure everything's okay. How was your show? And they would tell me, oh, it was great. And then I was like, there's anything else I can do for you? Please come into the desk or give me a call. So I always did that. I always went above and beyond to make sure they were satisfied.
Exactly, that ties into active follow-up. Okay, great. Uh, there's a point here that you say processed important queries and managed customer expectations in a polite and friendly manner. So, how did you manage guest expectations, which were a bit unique in nature, you could say?
Oh, execute guest requests. Is that what the one you're talking about?
Yes, how did you manage guest expectations?
Guest expectations, like by email or phone. Their expectations. Every guest expectation is different. They all want good customer service, so you gotta ask questions to find out what they're looking for, what they need, and you ask those questions, and you ask them ask them. You don't find out much about a guest if you don't ask any questions. You can't just say, "I'm going to put you here and put you there." You got to find out what they're trying to spend on the trip and how much time they have. Do they want to go by the pool? You just gotta. I
Makes
always,
sense.
yeah.
Makes sense. So you do the research and then you manage the guests individually.
right? And a lot of
Okay.
being able to recommend the stuff to the guests is outside of work. I always go to shows, restaurants, as many restaurants as I can, as many shows as I can. I go on as many tours as I can. So when you're talking to the guests, you're more comfortable with the product, and you can sell it to them, talk about it easy, and you can help them better with what they need.
That's a very good point. That also ties in with sales, which I can use for if we do that other resume, I can use it for that because you're also doing your groundwork. You know what you're selling, you know what you're talking about. Okay,
And then
makes
I
sense.
always believe in that. I always tell every guest, every every new employee that comes on board. I always tell all the new employees. I mean, I'm all about teamwork and everything, so I try to help them out. And the ones that are new, I tell them I said the best way to get to know everything is to go on these tours, go to the shows. I said go to the restaurant. I said you don't have to go to the most expensive restaurant, but try to go as many as you can because it helps you out, referring to the guests. Because the guests want to know exactly. They say, hey, what's the best food? What makes this restaurant so great? And they say, well, I like this, I like that, I like the steak was good. This is much different than a regular steakhouse, and that's how you can, I mean, separate from everybody else.
Okay,
Because the
so
guests like to know that information.
hmm so in a way, you helped onboard these new employees by guiding them.
Guiding them, always offering assistance,
Okay,
teamwork. I mean, it just
makes sense. Okay. You also served in subject matter expert role across all casino events, promotions, and general information for clients. So, in what other ways did you act as a subject matter expert? You've already talked about the restaurants and all
well
the amenities.
New York, New York. We always offered the restaurants in there first. We
Mhm.
always ask every guest, are they part of the M Life program? And if they're not
What
part of the M
program?
Life program, we sign them up for that reward, the casino reward program.
Okay.
Always try to keep them inside the house. Try to keep inside the hotel as much as possible. I mean, they like New York has a pub crawl. They go to like 4 different pubs. You can order all these drinks, and we always push that to try to keep inside the hotel there, and they spend money within New York, New York.
Makes sense. Okay.
So I said, why would you go to Steakhouse across the street when you can go here to Gallagher's when it's one of the best ones on the strip? We got a great Italian restaurant, a good Irish pub. We got everything you need here, a 24-hour restaurant, and a lot of guests enjoyed
So, you're
that because they did.
upselling the services.
Right, right.
Okay.
But there's always, I mean, it was always good. Like I always made sure I went to all those restaurants inside the hotel. I knew everything in the hotel. I always did my research. Like every hotel I've been to, casino, I've done my research. I look around. Some guests say, "Where do I go for this?" Like you go over here and go around the corner. Some of the hotel casino, like the employees, they don't know where anything's at there. They just go there, they punch in, they don't make that a point to learn anything else about the hotel.
Okay, so you go that extra mile to know your surroundings so you can guide the guests better.
Right, right.
Okay. You utilized Go Concierge to record and track all requests and tasks for guests. So, were you able to improve overall customer service operations by utilizing this tool?
And Go Concierge is a lot of hotels use Go Concierge. After every transaction or any interaction with any guest, we were required to go in there and log what we did. Whether I mean we talked about, we try to always get as much information from the guests, like their room number, their name, and we put that in there. And if we didn't do anything, we just put in there. We talked to guests about this, and So that way, if they come back to the desk, anybody that's helping them out can go to those notes and see that.
Makes sense. Okay. Mm. You also optimized guest satisfaction. So, how did you ensure that the guests received a memorable experience? And in what other ways did you increase satisfaction levels? We've already talked about how you had a personal touch in a personal, you could say, knowledge, because you did the research, so you know who you were talking to and what you were recommending to whom. But other than that, what did you do?
Oh, to make sure they have memorable experience, I mean, you have to give great customer service. Listen to them, and then
Mm-hmm.
we have business cards. I gave them a business card and say, if you need anything, give me a call or shoot me an email or call the desk here and ask for me, and I'll help you out. And I always made sure that the guests, I mean, if they were having a problem, even with the hotel room, I would make sure they get in contact with the manager to talk to about that. And I'd always make sure they get pointed in the right direction. I never left any guests hanging or just saying you guys couldn't help me. I always did everything I can. I always believe in knowing other people in other departments, having relationships, knowing as many different departments, knowing people in there. So that way, when you need something, you call that other department, and they can help that person out or help you out to help the guest.
Okay, we'll come back to that cross-departmental relationship building point in just a second. Do you have any figures for how much customer satisfaction you increased?
I don't know. All I know is that there was a lot of emails that were received from me and for me, and my supervisor, just, I mean, they send you the email and say congratulate you, then they uh, send an email out to the team saying congratulate Ben, you got a good feedback on this, and then they clap their hands and they move on to the next person. That's all they did. So I don't know the numbers or anything like that. I don't know exactly how many
Oh,
positive I received or anything like that. So
okay, but you did receive positive recognition, right?
a lot of positive recognition, yes.
Okay, so let's jump back to the cross-departmental point. You said you were involved across departments, so you could collaborate efficiently with them. So was this already something that existed in the culture for the hotel, or was this something that you initiated?
Something that I've always done. I've always made relationships with people at the uh, front desk and other departments. Like if a guest comes to the desk and they need someone that speaks Spanish or another language, and there's no way that in the back in my desk that speaks that, I would go to the front desk and see if they can find someone that speaks over there and see if they can come up, leave their post for me to come help me out with the guests. So that way you get that face-to-face interaction with someone helping them out, and they can translate for me.
Got it.
Or
Okay,
or
so
if you
you
needed something
initiated
in a
cross-departmental.
yeah, or if a
Go
guest
on.
needed something put in a room like a amenity like a wine and champagne, you'd call room service and have them set that up for them. So there's a lot. We work with a lot of different departments over there.
Got it. Okay.
But some people don't always. Some people didn't work with people, didn't like working with other departments, so they did as minimal as possible in their job. But I always believe that exceeding expectations, going extra mile, going and talking to people, and it gives the guest best guest experience. So that's why I always work with other people, and I believe in that.
Makes sense. Okay. Hmm. You schedule guests for different events, making reservations, and helping them purchase tickets. We covered this under general responsibilities, but were you able to introduce or utilize any new schedule management techniques that improved performance or efficiency?
Oh, any techniques that helped over the time? Well, there'd be we'd always have like meetings. I mean, they'd always meetings with the supervisors and managers. They'd always tell you how you could say something better to a guest. I mean, just don't say, ask a guest, how may I help you? Just, what can I assist you with? I mean, that's how you say it to a guest and makes them feel better, and
Hmm.
it always helped
But
out a lot. I mean, they always,
for schedule management, did you do anything in